95% of you watching this video won't be able to do this one thing in crypto. You won't be able to make any money in this bull market, and in fact, it's statistically proven that 95% of people actually lose money in crypto. However, I've identified it's usually because of one thing and one thing only. They don't have an exit plan. And that's why in this video, I'm going to talk about my own exit plan, as well as key metrics to pay attention throughout this bull market that are going to guide us as to when we should be taking money off the table. I'm also going to let you know later on in the video when I intend to be fully out of crypto. So do me a favor, hit the like button. Let's get into today's video. Now, if we jump across to Bitcoin, then you'll see we are very much in the early stages of a bull market. The most likely presidential candidate to win the next US election, Donald Trump, is, guess what, pro-Bitcoin. The head of the world's biggest bank, Jamie Dimon, has flipped and is now pro-Bitcoin. The head of the world's largest asset manager, Larry Fink, is, guess what, pro-Bitcoin. And that means that everything is coming together to now push us all into an exciting bull market where things go crazy. But first, before we come up with our plan, we need to know roughly how long this bull market is going to last. And if you've got time, I recommend watching this 2 hours and 15 minutes video from Raoul Pal called the Everything Code Masterclass. But since I know you've not got 2 hours to waste on that, you've got some cat videos that need watching on Instagram, or that Sunday roast to cook, or whatever it is, I recommend you go to glass.co and download this. Come across here and you can see it's going to give me a transcript of the video. Copy the transcript, go to claude.ai, paste it in, and then say summarize this, including key dates, or dates, I would assume is what it's supposed to have said. And you can see that it's going to give me all the juicy info that I needed from that whole video, and it's going to take me 2 minutes to read, but you don't want to wait 2 minutes. So I'm going to tell you what it basically says. Basically, Raoul Pal has identified that the whole markets are driven by liquidity in a 4-year cycle. And this liquidity gets pumped into the markets effectively through global banks debasing their currencies, making their currencies less valuable in order to kind of inflate them more and more. And this should mean by September 2024, which is just 2 months away, we're going to be at the top of this cycle. But don't worry, it front runs crypto by about 6 to 12 months, and that means we're going to be heading to a bull market for the next 6 to 12 months from here, if you don't believe that we've been in a bull market so far. So things are looking good. We've got our bags, we've bought the right coins, we've done our research. Well, holding the right coins is probably the least of your worries. So ultimately, you need a plan, right? So first things first, how much money do we want to make in this bull market? If you can't answer this question, then you're probably already on a bit of shaky ground. But don't worry. I think from here, the key is to identify what kind of amounts you're looking at making and to have a realistic figure in mind. For me, it's something like an 8 to 10x. Now, if you're thinking with the amount of money that you've got in crypto that an 8 to 10x is just nowhere near enough, well, unfortunately, I've got news for you. You're probably going to be trying to shoot for 20, 30, 50x because IZP is guaranteed to give me a 50x or whatever. Then you're going to find yourself doing what this guy did and holding for a full cycle. You can see that this person is now down to 77,600 after his Bowden tokens being worth $4 million just a few weeks ago. And someone was like, well, why didn't you just sell $1 million? And he said, I believed it would go higher. And it did, but then it went down. And here's effectively the problem. If you don't have a plan of when you want to take it out, then you're like, well, I'll just wait another day or two, gonna push another 50%, and this influencer and that person told me that it's gonna go on, and guess what? Eventually, it will start to pull away from you as the smart money will take their money away from that project. So effectively what I'm saying is if you don't have enough money to make life-changing gains, and you're really concerned about that, then you probably need to go and get yourself some more money somehow. Maybe that's selling some stuff, or breeding your Labrador to sell puppies, or mowing lawns, or washing cars, or whatever you could possibly do to get some extra capital right now. But that's for you to decide on how much you want it. Okay, so I've got my plan in place of how much money I want to make, and because it's fairly realistic, there's a good chance of getting towards that period of time in the future. So what do? Well, if my target gets hit at any point during this bull market, I'm pretty much going to pull out of it. And let's say I get lucky and I hit that within the first 6 months. Well, I suggest that you probably take 80 to 90% of the money that you've made of that end goal and pull it out the markets because it's realized profit at that point and not just paper profits. And then you could leave 10%, 20% in the market to continue on that journey. I also think it's worth linking that money in the future towards something that you want. And in various cases, it could be different things. It could be to buy a new car. It could be to pay off your mortgage. In my case, it's to buy a new house, but it doesn't matter. It needs to be something tangible that you can envision because that's going to help you to take the profit when you need to because you're going to be able to ship it into something you want. Okay, so I'm going to make 10x, right? Well, wrong. because there is a chance that you don't arrive at 10x depending on what coins you're holding. But still, 7 or 8x is pretty damn good, right? Well, first thing we need to keep in mind is that liquidity cycle. Remember, probably from around June till the end of the year next year, we're likely to have seen Bitcoin top out. So what are key metrics we can pay attention to for when Bitcoin tops out? Well, let's look at when Bitcoin topped out in the last cycle, was around the 8th of November. And what you can do is go across to Google and do this. You can write Bitcoin news and go to tools and then go to anytime and click custom range. Then you can go back to the 1st of November till, let's say, around the 10th of November, 2021, because that's when Bitcoin was topping out. And you will see that if you go in, that there is a significant number of news articles. And if you want to go and read some of these news articles, you will see that most of these news articles are saying stuff like, banks were trying to kill crypto, but now they're all trying to buy it and embrace it. JP Morgan saying that Bitcoin's going to 150 grand. Kathy Wood comes out and tells everyone it's going to $1 million, and everyone suddenly flips bullish on crypto. And suddenly, when everyone's like, Bitcoin's going to $1 million or whatever, it's these people who were there sat telling you that it's going to $1 million. They're the BlackRocks of the world, the banks, etc., and they basically control everything. Down below that, you then got the venture capital funds who are pumping money into certain coins to be able to rally them aggressively, etc. The VCs are basically controlling the dev teams underneath them. Then you've got the influencers trying to identify all of the information that's coming from above to try and feed it down to the retailers. And the retailers are basically manipulated beyond belief, because at this point they haven't had a plan. Suddenly they've made far more money than they ever anticipated making, and they're now waiting for the next gains. They're like, if I can just get another 2x or another 3x, then I can buy this. All I need is another, and then eventually, guess what? They get destroyed. And that's because these people at the top know that we're ruled by our monkey minds. Our monkey mind controls every decision that we make when it's ruled by emotion rather than logic. And that's why we need to have a plan in place now that's ruled by logic rather than the emotion that's going to take over us. Here's another thing to understand. This is very evident. Throughout a bull market, what makes most projects rally is more about the speculation than the actual fundamentals. And you've probably seen that already in a bunch of coins that aren't really doing anything yet, but everyone's getting hyped and excited about them. And particularly these projects will then suffer in a bear market the most because they're not really backed up by any fundamentals. So here's one thing we can pay attention to. The news. If we think crypto's really quite high and been doing very well, and we like starting to share this information with our friends about how much money we're making, then crypto's probably getting towards the top of the market. And if you suddenly get inundated with floods from this analyst reckons that Bitcoin's going to this price, then that's probably a time that you want to dip out. Other things to pay attention to. At the top of a bull market, loads of retail investors like you and me are flooding into the market. And what do we tend to do? We go towards crypto YouTube and crypto Twitter. So what we can do is identify a crypto YouTube channel that's kind of like beginner friendly and for the masses, like Altcoin Daily here. And we can go across to viewstats.com and paste in the username. This is going to show me that over a period of time, lots of people are either watching the content or not watching the content. It doesn't mean the content's getting better or worse. It seems to be pretty consistent. It means that people are bullish on crypto or not. For example, you can see that between the 2nd of March and the 9th of March, Altcoin Daily got 2 million views. And then right now, they're down around 659,000. So what's significant about the 2nd to the 9th of March is the 2nd of March is here and like the 9th of March is somewhere up around here. So basically, around the time that Bitcoin was nearly topping out, Altcoin Daily was getting more views than he had been getting for the last year. So this is a very useful indicator. So I'm going to pay attention to this as the market goes on and look for any particular spikes in like the number of views or the number of subscribers that are heading towards the channel. And you can come down below. There's other stats as well, like the number of subscribers you can see for Altcoin Daily, which is probably a better metric. In March, it was 40,000, which is pretty big for a crypto YouTube channel in just a single month before the bull market arrives. When they start to get hundreds of thousands of subscribers each month, this is another indicator that we might be moving towards the top of the market. Why? Because you've been in crypto at least 5 minutes, you've heard of Altcoin Daily, you probably subscribe to them if you like them or not subscribe to them if you don't like them. Therefore, new subscribers is a very good metric for how many newbies are arriving in the market. When lots of newbies are in the market, it tends to mean we're about to cool off. And while we're on this, make sure you're subscribed to my channel so I can get towards having 40,000 subscribers a month. Absolute BS that you choose to follow Altcoin Daily rather than me. Just joking. I actually watch a bit of Altcoin Daily from time to time myself. And here's another metric that we can pay attention to identify how hot the market is at any given time. Go to lunarcrush.com. You can see the categories of things that are popular. Right now, cryptocurrency sits in number 13. Around March, cryptocurrency was sat up in number 5, and you can see that when the Bitcoin bull market is near the top, you will see that it's up at number 1. I can almost guarantee it. And I'm confident if you keep your eye on all of these metrics, then you will be able to step back from all the BS and hype and excitement that you're hearing in the bull market, because everyone out there is going to be telling you to keep buying, and everyone's going to be getting dumber and dumber as the market goes higher and higher, at the point that these people up here are starting to think about pulling the rug on you, and all of these down the bottom and getting hyped and excited. Same can also be true for your cryptocurrencies. You can look at what's hyped and exciting right now. You can see all the meme coins, etc. at the top, which means obviously they're going to get moving again. But round when we see certain narratives at the top of this particular pattern, it's often a chance they might be about to see a little cool off, okay? We saw it before with real world assets. We saw it before that with AI. We've seen it with various narratives throughout this bull market. And that doesn't mean they can't come back, but you're going to see fluctuations through this bull market where certain meme coins run very hot for like a week or two, and then they cool off, and then they go again. And that's how to pay attention to those. Now, the next part of the plan is to understand this. On CoinMarketCap, you have coins that are listed from the #1 biggest market cap all the way down to the smallest market cap. Small market cap coins have significantly more volatility than the big market cap coins. They're the ones you can potentially make 20 to 50x on if you are damn lucky. However, every time you're making significant gains on smaller market cap coins, remember that there is probably some person who bought around $1 million at the bottom of that token's life, and if it's gone up 20 or 30x, they're now set on $20 to $30 million. That means that that person is likely to start selling, and you should probably think about it as well. If you make lots of money on small market cap coins, but you still want to be in the risk game, then you can move your money back towards the safer area of the market, which is the larger cap coins. This allows you to still be a degenerate and continue to gamble on, because even if Bitcoin dumps hard one day and takes 15% out of the market, at least you're not down 80% or 60% on a single day like you could be in some of the smaller cap coins. But typically, as we go through a bull market, people get more and more risky. They're more and more happy to do crazier and crazier things. They take their money from the bigger market cap coins and they push it into the more and more degenerate small cap coins that eventually are why they end up getting burned, and that's why they tend to lose massive sums in very short spaces of time. Another thing I highly recommend doing would be to look at some more stable assets that you can use to take your money out and to perhaps go and earn passive incomes on. Here's an example of one I looked at the other day. It's called Gomining, and there's a link for this down below in the description, where if you use the code HOUSE, you can get 5% off. Now, this is basically like buying a license to be able to operate a Bitcoin miner, but without having to buy all the expensive equipment and, you know, upgrade your power supply and all this other BS. You can basically buy a stake in mining farms where you can earn like 36% annually, which might not sound that much to a crypto degen, but if you 10x'd your money right now and then started making 36% per annum on it, you'd be pretty damn happy. This also allows you to justify in your mind why you're going to take out the money now, because you can continue to make more money. It's quite a difficult thing when you get towards the top of the bull market and you're like, well, I take the money out of crypto, I can't make any more money because there's no other place as good as crypto for making money. And that's another thing that gets us wrecked. So as part of the exit plan, I've identified as well, not just going and buying a house, but other ways in which I can use that money to feed in and make a passive income from. Now, here's a situation I want you to be aware of. This is Solana back in the last bull market. And I'm sure that lots of people made a lot of money during this period here and perhaps sold into this area up here. Now, after selling into this area up here or in and around here, you would have said that they probably absolutely nailed it, because even if they sold that very bottom dip, they would have still made 48 to 49x. Even if they panic sold there and they've been all the way through this and they panic sold, they got a 48x, well, brilliant. But unfortunately, what would have then happened is that the market would have then continued to kick on. They would have then been forced to kick back into the market to ride up and see another 25% of gains. But after buying back in here, the market turns round on them and then it rips towards the downside. They get completely caught in the headlights because they weren't expecting it. They then lose 88% of the gains that they made on the way up. This is another huge problem, and you cannot do it. You take the money out knowing full well that you've taken that money out to buy the thing that you want to buy, because if you get back into that market, you are nothing but a complete degenerate gambler, and there is a very, very good chance that you get absolutely annihilated, and then you're not even going to have this anymore, and you're going to be left with nothing. So understand, if you make that money that you wanted to make, you have killed it. You have done what no one else in the markets pretty much does, okay? You haven't sold the top. Who gives a shit? You sold so close to the top. Happy days, okay? So don't try and exactly identify when this day is going to be, because it's going to be damn difficult. You need to try and sell somewhere in this phase, or worst case, try and sell somewhere in this phase, although this is less ideal than selling on the way up. But there's a massive problem. You're going to be up here and people are going to be telling you you are literally insane. Therefore, don't tell people about it, okay? If you pull your money out and you buy what you wanted to buy, then you've done the right thing. You've used crypto for what you should have used it for. Don't let anyone else convince you otherwise. So hopefully this is all very straightforward. I think another key thing to pay attention to, I've seen people say that you should sell around round numbers. So for example, if I choose any particular coin, like Casper, for example, is currently around 18 cents. I'm sure a lot of people out there be like, oh, you should sell Casper at like $5. Go and look at what like the mass market is saying. If everyone's out there telling you that around $5 is the target for Casper, then personally I would want to be selling or at least taking some profits off the table around sort of $3 to $4, because still from this current price, that's a massive, massive gain. I'm not saying it's going to get there or not. It might well do, it might not, who knows? But start to periodically take some profits out the market. Therefore, when the market is starting to read the indicators that we said, okay, this sort of stuff, then you want to be sort of at least considering to start pulling portions of money out of those coins. Having like price predictions in mind of where Bitcoin's headed or Casper's headed and when I'm going to sell based on price will get you screwed, because no one knows for sure where these coins are headed. Simply, you need to use these metrics to identify when you should start taking profits out the market. And eventually when you hit that 5K target or 10K or 10 million or whatever your target is, then that's when you want to be heading for an all complete exit from crypto. Turn off your computer, go and have a beer, chill the F out, and don't keep watching the charts because you're already out. Why do you want to keep watching the charts? That's just going to get you to go and ape back into the market. Now, don't worry. It's a lot to take in, I know. But remember, right now, you're in full control because logic will prevail. But right now, it's easy because we're not really that emotional. I'm not particularly scared or excited in crypto. So therefore, I need to rein myself in right now because it's going to get crazy. Things are going to get really pumped and excited. And if you want to have someone who's going to hold your hand and tell you when maybe markets are getting a little bit hot and we need to calm the F down, despite the fact that everyone's going to be in the comments telling me I'm an idiot, then make sure you're subscribed to the House of Crypto. As well as that, I've got a very exciting announcement. House of Crypto has just launched its official shop, the WENLAMBO shop store, and we got a 15% discount for at least the next few days, where if you use the code CryptoLegend, you're going to be able to save 15% on purchases. Now, we've got a variety of different things available, from hoodies and t-shirts like this Buy the Dip Classic, or the WENLAMBO t-shirt, or the Dior spin-off, the DYOR phone cases. There is so many cool things to go and take a look at, guys. Make sure you go and check out the WENLAMBO store down below. We can see all these different things in here. Now, at the moment, they all look like they're in white and black. Actually, you can get different colors on various different ones. And as well, there's a variety of different sizes. So make sure you can check out the WENLAMBO store down below so that you can wear some crypto attire out and you can make friends with other crypto bros that you bump into in the gas station, the supermarket, and chat crypto in your local town. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully that's been a useful video for you guys. Make sure you hit that like button. If you're new to the channel and you haven't done this already, and subscribe. And I will see you tomorrow in another video. Bye-bye.